Hello everyone, my name is Ling and I'm going to present my personal financial plan. I've been working on an investment strategy with a total capital of 1 million US dollar, which approximately 25 billion Vietnam dong. The time frame for this plan spans from 25 of December to the 1st of April. Throughout this period, my focus has been on balancing risk and return through a diversified portfolio, including assets like gold, stocks, and currency speculation. This presentation includes four main parts, which is portfolio allocation, then we move to the insight and market outlook, and then the key learnings, and finally the conclusion. One of the most important principles in investment management is understanding that it's not just about maximizing return, but effectively managing risk. As Benjamin Graham, the father of value investing, wisely stated, the essence of investment management is the management of risk, not the management of returns. Now let's move to the portfolio allocation. My first asset is SJC Gold, second asset is Hòa Phát Group stocks, and the third one is the Forex USD speculation. And finally, the other things like education, spending for travel, and finally saving. Let's move to the first asset, which is gold. Gold is a safe haven asset that I have chosen to include it in my portfolio to ensure stability and protect against inflation. I have allocated more than 20% of my portfolio, approximately 5 billion, to gold. While SJC Gold carries a local premium compared to the international price, it is strong liquidity and market acceptance, and status as a reliable store of value make it an ideal long-term hedge in my portfolio. I began purchasing gold on the 6th of January when the price was 83.5 million Vietnam dong per tael. With this capital, I acquired approximately 60 taels of gold. At the 1st of April, the price of gold has risen to 102.1 million per Vietnam dong per tael, and I decided to sell my gold holding to secure a profit of approximately more than 1 billion Vietnam dong. The reason for this decision was to lock in the gains before the price of gold potentially starts to decrease, as the market condition could shift in the coming months. My second asset is the Hòa Phát Group stocks. I chose Hòa Phát because of its dominant position in Vietnam's steel industry, and I believe this will be a safe asset to invest. On the 25th of December, I decided to allocate more than 20% of my portfolio to Hòa Phát share at the price of more than 26,000 Vietnam dong per share. However, on the 12th of March, President Donald Trump announced a 25% tariff on imported steels, raising investor concerns about potential impact on Vietnamese steel's export to the US. But since Vietnamese steel has already been subject to the tariff since 2018, the new measure has limited additional impact. And after carefully analysis, I decided to hold my Hòa Phát share until the 25th March and sell it at the price of more than 27,000 Vietnam dong per share. My decision was to sell Hòa Phát share was driven by market uncertainty and the volatile global environment. While I still believe in Hòa Phát long-term potential, I chose to reduce my exposure to the short-term crisis. To diversify my portfolio and take advantage of macroeconomic trends, I allocated about 30% of my capital, approximately 7 billion Vietnam dong, to currency speculation, focused on the USD Vietnam dong exchange rate. On the 22nd of January, the Vietnam dong surged unexpectedly, reaching more than 25,000 Vietnam dong per USD, the strongest level since the late 2023. Seeing this as short-term overreaction, I decided to buy approximately 280,000 USD at this favorable rate. I held this over the next 2 months as the USD began to recover and growing global uncertainty, a potential shift in the Fed monetary policy, and concerns over Vietnam's trade deficit. As expected, the Vietnam dong gradually weakened again, and the USD demand picked up. By the March of 27, the exchange rate has rebounded to 25,560 Vietnam dong per USD, and therefore I chose to close my position at this level to secure short-term profits and avoid potential volatility from geopolitical tension and central bank intervention. And finally, I decided to allocate the remaining approximately 8 billion of Vietnam dong to this category, broken down into three areas. The first one is self-development, which will be invested in courses, certifications, study abroad, and skill building activities. This investment will help me stay competitive and advance in my career. The second one is for my family, including travel, leisure activities, and health. This is important for spending quality time with my family. And finally, the remaining of 2.4 billion Vietnam dong will be set aside for future savings, such as emergency funds and significant life milestones or future investment opportunities. The goal is to ensure financial security and stability in the long term. What about the insights and market outlook? The first asset is gold investment. Initially, I planned to hold the gold as a safe haven asset, but due to market volatility, I unexpectedly made a profit. The rise in gold prices, driven by inflation concerns and geopolitical risks, allowed me to lock in the gains before the potential market shifts. Second asset is Hòa Phát stock. I invested in Hòa Phát stock thinking it would be a stable asset, but the global trade tensions and geopolitical factors caused an unexpectedly volatility. This taught me that even seemingly stable assets can be impacted by external factors. The final one is currency speculation, which was a riskier part of my portfolio. However, after thorough research and carefully consideration, I was lucky that the market moved in my favor, allowing me to avoid losses. So here are some key lessons for my portfolio, including exit strategy, diversification, stay informed, holistic finance, and preparation for the risk taking. My strategy focused on balancing risk and rewards through diversification by spreading investment across different asset classes such as gold, stocks, and forex. I minimize the risk of significant losses from my single asset. This approach ensures my portfolio is less susceptible to market volatility. I also benefited from market fluctuation, gaining over 1.3 million Vietnam dong unexpectedly, which boosted my portfolio by carefully selecting safer assets like gold and strategically managing more volatility assets like forex. I align with my risk-averse approach while managing risk effectively. That is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.